Hello, it's Andy from Campaign Film. I want to tell you about 3 things I look for to make content more emotionally engaging before I start shooting. Campaign Film is a small but impactful production company working with brands to tell compassionate stories the world needs to see and hear. What is most personal is most universal, according to American psychologist Carl Rogers. What this means to me is that by sharing intimately the things that matter to us, we automatically create deeper connections with others. So, here's a checklist of 3 things to think about before shooting to make sure you're sowing your story on emotionally fertile ground. Number 1, visual setting. We had to capture the story of the Samburu Girls Foundation in Kenya that works to eliminate female genital mutilation and to educate communities. Rather than just film static interviews, we constructed a school lesson outside where the girls would share an emotional show and tell.
My name is Jacqueline Nabulu, and this is my story.
I was to be circumcised with other 4 girls who are my cousins.
To force me to be married by an older man.
I went through FGM when I was 9 years old.
We felt that the school setting is familiar to all of us, and it also establishes an age and context for the girls, providing us with an anchor and reference point for our story. Once we have this visual information, the sharing becomes more personal because we can relate to their context, their stage in life.
I was so happy because I see now, yes, I can make it because I've been rescued.
Next up, choice of character. Eric Ellison, the Guardian's prison correspondent, is also an ex-prisoner. He was the right person to relate to us how the prison population is being systematically let down by the fact that 50% of inmates struggle to read and write. But he then goes on to share a personal story.
There was a guy on the same landing as me, and he came into my cell one night and he asked me, would I read a letter that his wife had written to him? And he couldn't read or write, and his wife didn't know. So I read the letter, and then I wrote a reply, and then he copied it. And we did this a couple of times, and then I said to him, what your wife is saying to you is very personal, and it should be between you and her. So I actually taught him to read.
This example, coming from someone else, wouldn't have been as relatable, because Eric has first-hand experience of teaching fellow adult inmates how to read. Number 3, scripting and choice of narrator. Never underestimate the importance of a script that can draw us all into a shared problem. When we were lucky enough to work with David Attenborough, who can bring a lot of authority to a message, we made sure the script demanded something of us, the viewer.
It's time to turn things around. Nature is capable of extraordinary recovery, but we must act now. Tell your politicians, now is the time to put nature into recovery. Everything works better when it's connected.
A voice of authority, as well as a well-understood public message that plays into climate change and wildlife loss, help to drive home the emotional impact of the Wildlife Trust's message. So to recap, setting can change how we perceive a testimony and gives us more to relate to. Find characterful testimony from someone with experience, and try to combine a trusted, relevant voice for your campaign message. Thanks for watching, and please share and like.